Yoga with Adriene 30-day challenge called Breath, and this is what I thought about it. So for the longest time I've actually always had good intentions to start a proper yoga journey. I mainly do triathlons, and I thought with the yoga it would be a good active recovery, something that would maybe help injury prevention or just genuinely help my muscles recover from some of the more intense sessions that I was doing. The problem is though, I've never really stuck with it. I've dipped in and out of it. I've picked up a routine with doing it a couple of times a week, and then I'd go like a month without doing any, and I just wasn't very dedicated to the practice of yoga. So I never really saw any results as such, because I never really stuck with it long enough. At the start of lockdown in March 2020, I set out with the intention that I was going to get into a routine of doing yoga and practicing yoga a lot more. Yeah, and it never happened. I found it hard to carve out time in my day to actually dedicate to myself or to do something for myself. So, you know, New Year rolls around and I'm like, well, there's this challenge, Yoga with Adriene. I know she doesn't like to call it a challenge, which I get, because it should be just practice, but for me it was a challenge. First 30 days of the year committing to practicing yoga daily. So I did think about setting the intention that every morning I'd get up at 6 o'clock and I would do the daily practice, and then it would be done and it would be over. And some days I did do that. You know, some days I did make the effort to get up a bit earlier and start my day well. But I'm glad I didn't set that as a rule, because I think that would have been too much pressure and too much to commit to. Just committing to the fact that I was actually going to do it that day was a lot better for me, I think, not being so strict. I think especially because sometimes I found that I have had a really stressful day at work. I am working from home at the moment, and I would find a stressful day in particular that maybe practicing the yoga at lunchtime was a nice break in my day to reset my intentions for the day, take a bit of a break for myself, recharge, reinvigorate myself, and then go back to work after lunchtime. And equally, on days where I didn't get it in at lunchtime, sometimes it was really nice to do it straight after work, commit to that change in pace, I guess. I suppose when I was working in the office, I had that commute to decompress or like kind of vent things out in my head. Now I don't have that, because I don't have that commute, that physical time, that physical space to decompress and think about, you know, like, right, moving from A to B. I do think with the pandemic and a lot of people are working from home, that work-life balance has tended to blur, especially. So, what did I learn? Yeah, I'm not that good at yoga. I'm not that good. I actually found it quite challenging. Guess I didn't realise how physically demanding it could be. In different ways. There was definitely days where I got a bit of a sweat on, when my muscles were aching afterwards, and I think doing 30 days one after the other, I could definitely feel it, like all in my shoulders, my arms, my hands. I also found there was a huge mental side to practicing yoga every day. Like I kind of touched on before, it was making that time for myself, making that specific time where I could check in with myself, check how I was feeling, good, bad, whatever. I got the time to acknowledge it, acknowledge how I'm feeling, how my body is feeling, how mentally I'm feeling. Am I feeling tired? Am I feeling drained? Am I experiencing stress? It was nice to take that moment for myself once a day. Just sometimes it was only 15-20 minutes, but that was all I needed, just to check in, and I felt mentally stronger for that. So physically my body has changed. I definitely feel stronger in my upper body, my shoulders, my arms, my back has definitely become stronger, is the only way I can describe it. I wouldn't say I'm super muscly. I wouldn't say I've gained loads of muscle. So aside from genuinely feeling stronger, my actual running performance has improved, which I didn't expect. I've always said that I should do yoga more to counteract the harder impact activities that I do to my body, running, cycling, constantly pounding the pavements. I thought maybe like that would improve, but I didn't think that my actual performance in those activities would improve. But I have seen a positive change, which I am really, really happy about. I would say my core strength before was probably non-existent. Yeah, it was always something I really needed to work on. I think especially with swimming, you notice those kind of imbalances. Being able to hold yourself straight in the water and strong and in the water in those positions, that's where the speed's at with swimming. You can't muscle through a swim and get faster. It is all about that technique and your body alignment and things like that. So yeah, obviously it's kind of hard to test that theory at the minute because all the pools are closed still. So I can't concretely say that my swimming has improved because of this, but I feel like my core stability has definitely improved, and that's shown with my running performance because that has improved over the last month. So something else I've seen a change in is my actual ability to do some of the postures. I really struggled with downward dog. I could not do it. The pressure on my hands, on my wrists, on my shoulders, holding my body weight in that position, was torture before, was actual torture. There was nothing I enjoyed about that posture. And now I'm at the end of the 30 days, I would say that it's become a resting posture. And that's how I know I've changed and got more strength through this process. Because I would have never called a downward dog a resting position at the start of this. On January the 1st, I would not have said that downward dog would be resting. No. I love how the whole Yoga with Adriene community is just so inclusive. There's always variations as well, which are good. You start at a certain point and then you can always make it harder, make it easier. There's never any pressure to twist yourself into a position that is like beyond you. Obviously, the content that Adriene puts out on her channel is amazing, but then you have to do it. Do you know what I mean? It was a commitment. The content is there if you commit to it and if you want to do it. So that starts with you. Like, there can be all the content in the world, but unless you do it, it's not going to benefit you. So I would definitely take advantage of the content that Adriene puts out. It's amazing. And generally, it's a massive thumbs up from me. I am actually going to continue some form of yoga every day while I am at home. While I've got the time, I've got no excuse. Not every day has to be where I smash myself on a hill session or I have to run flat out intervals. I can still move my body with kindness and with some self-care and still feel like I've achieved something that day.